When asked to describe himself in one word, Skeeter would have used the word cat, although he was sometimes confused by things like dogs. A dog once tried to chase its tail, and Skeeter spent most of the afternoon trying to figure out how it did it. Another time, a dog wanted to bury something in the garden and dug a hole, which led Skeeter to dig his own hole. And then there were the times Skeeter tried to fetch things for the dog, and the dog looked at him as if he were an idiot. "Do I look like a dog to you?" Skeeter would ask. "No," the dog would reply, "but you can certainly act like one." One day, Skeeter noticed there were a lot of weasels. There were weasels at the office. There were weasels at the bank. There were weasels at the supermarket. The first few times he saw them, they startled him, but then he got used to it and just accepted that there were weasels everywhere. Every morning he got up, he saw a weasel peering at him from the curtains. When he looked away, the weasel vanished. He found more weasels at the bus stop. Some wore gray trench coats and purple sunglasses. They looked important. They looked dangerous. He started seeing weasels everywhere. They peeked out of store windows. They slunk in alleys. They poked out of doorways. They peered around corners. And if you looked right at them, they vanished in the blink of an eye. After a week, Skeeter was driving home. "There sure are a lot of weasels," he muttered. At the red light next to him was a car full of weasels wearing gray trench coats and purple sunglasses. One of them caught Skeeter's eye and held up a finger. "Hi," he said. Skeeter stared, puzzled. The light turned green, and the weasel drove off. "Wait," said Skeeter. "Was he waving to me?" "Maybe," said a voice behind him. "Weasels normally don't wave to cats." Skeeter turned to see a woman in a purple suit and matching purple hat. She also wore purple gloves and a purple belt. Her lipstick was purple, too, and she had a purple umbrella tucked under her arm. "Who are you?" asked Skeeter. "Eleanor Ratigan," she replied. "And who might you be?" "I'm Skeeter." "Skeeter," said Eleanor Ratigan. "You look like a cat." "I am a cat," said Skeeter proudly. "Me too," said Eleanor Ratigan. "Cats have excellent eyesight, I presume." "Oh, yeah," said Skeeter. "Can you see the weasels?" "Of course I can. I see them everywhere. And I think they're planning something nefarious." "You do, huh?" said Skeeter. "I'm going home now. See you later." "See you later," said Eleanor Ratigan. And she hurried off. The next day, Skeeter was back at his desk. It was Monday, and for some reason there seemed to be more weasels than usual. He saw them at the photocopier. He saw them walking down the hall. He even saw them outside in the parking lot. After work, he drove home, keeping an eye out for weasels. At the intersection, a bunch of weasels in cars waved to him. "Hi," they shouted. "Hi," Skeeter called back, though he had no idea why they were waving. He drove past the same hardware store he'd seen weasels in last week. This time, 3 weasels came out carrying paint cans. "Hey, Skeeter," they shouted. "You want to buy a house?" "Huh?" said Skeeter. "Nah," he said, and drove on. They must have taken all the houses, he thought. Back home, watching TV, he saw weasels on the news. He saw weasels in the commercials, and he saw weasels on the game show. "There sure are a lot of weasels," he muttered. The next day, Skeeter arrived late at work. "Sorry," he told Ginger. "I had car trouble." "Car trouble?" said Ginger suspiciously. "Car trouble," repeated Skeeter, wondering if she knew about the weasels. "Well, whatever it was," she said, "it seems to be over now." Later that day, Skeeter was called into his boss's office. "Sorry, Skeeter," said Buster. "There's been a change, a shake-up, a shift, and a slump. You're fired." Skeeter wasn't surprised. He suspected his boss was a weasel. "Well, thanks anyway," he said. "I better get going now." "Where are you going?" "Home," said Skeeter. "Well, you won't find that house of yours very livable, I'm afraid," said Buster. "The exterminators haven't finished yet." "Exterminators?" said Skeeter. "What exterminators?" "Oh, you know," said Buster. "Those who deal in vermin." "Oh," said Skeeter. "Yeah. Well, see you later, Buster." "See you later," said Buster. On his way home, Skeeter noticed there were weasels in the lobby. There were weasels in the parking lot. And there were weasels at the street corner. He kept expecting to find his house exterminated, but he found nothing but weasels. They peered at him from behind doors. They followed him around the block. They climbed out of manholes. They dropped down from rooftops. He couldn't get home without running into a weasel. So he changed course and headed for the park. There, at least, he was safe. Or were they? One peeked out from behind a bush and another from between two trees. Two more poked out of a clump of bushes. "There sure are a lot of weasels," said Skeeter, thinking it was time to give up. As he made his way home again, he thought he should accept that life would always have weasels in it. He wandered into an alley and found a cardboard box full of kittens. They meowed pitifully. He picked one up and snuggled it. Perhaps the world needed cats after all. Suddenly, a deep voice boomed above him. "Hold everything!" Startled, Skeeter looked up and saw on a fire escape above him a large rat in a pink trench coat and purple sunglasses. "Did you say something?" "Yes," the rat said. "I said, hold everything. Did you just call these kittens rats?" "Rats," said Skeeter. "I thought they were kittens." "I thought you were a cat," said the rat. "Well, I am a cat," said Skeeter. "Then you must help me," said the rat. "Help you? How?" "Find my sister," said the rat. "She's missing. Last seen with a band of weasels. If you can find her, I'll tell you anything you want to know about the weasels." "Anything?" "Anything." Skeeter hesitated. Then he said, "Very well." "My name is Ratilda," said the rat. "Ratilda," said Skeeter. "That's a nice name. And your name is?" "Skeeter." "Skeeter, I like it. Good for a cat. And you're a cat, right?" "Well, yeah." "Excellent," said Ratilda. "Right then, follow me. We haven't got a moment to lose." She hopped off the fire escape and hurried into the street. "Coming," said Skeeter. Ratilda led Skeeter through the city, weaving in and out of traffic, darting across the street, leaping over curbs. "You drive a hard bargain, Ratilda," said Skeeter, struggling to keep up. "I do," she replied. "And now I owe you a secret. Ready?" Skeeter nodded. "The Weasels are planning to invade City Hall tonight and replace the mayor with a weasel. That way, all the food served at official functions will..."